What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Fresh here, and we are back again with the second interview with Assistant General Manager Kyle Smith. And this offseason, he got an upgrade to that, promotion to that spot. So, with that being said, we're going to take a look at what he says and how he feels about the draft and everything. So, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and we're going to fall into it. Let's get it.
Quick, just want to thank our staff. I know a lot of times, scouts, area scouts, pro scouts.
See what he talking about, man. See what you got
the
to lie about.
They're not under the
Let's see what you got to lie about.
From adding coaches to free agency to the draft, all of our staff does a tremendous job. Ryan Pace wears a lot of hats in the personnel department, and he leads that pro staff. Former executive of the year. Has a lot of experience, and Sal Conti, Hakeem Smith, Ben Martinez, those guys do a great job. Obviously, our college scouts on the road, working hard, away from their families, all to create clarity for Terry and Raheem. So really happy with the outcome of both free agency and the draft. So from there, anything you guys got? Questions?
Yeah, Kyle, when did, I guess Joe Collier had one of the key reports, according to the team's YouTube channel. When did you all decide, hey, this is a good report, we might be going in this direction?
In terms of which one?
Quarterback.
Oh, yeah, with Penix. Yeah, I mean, Joel, obviously, yeah. A lot of he was the primary scout, area scout, and shoot, that goes back to all of the guys in this draft. That goes back to the year before, so our guys will start evaluating the players for next year's draft at the end of May here.
Okay. I was wondering how they do that. Like, how do they know, or when do they start like scouting players and stuff like that for next year?
Go through the February meetings.
Now I just found out. Helpful information right there.
So it's a process. Like every one of the guys that we drafted is the same type of process that we go through. So, but yes, Joel was a primary scout there.
Kyle, you talked a lot last year about the conventional wisdoms and taking a running back at number 8. Now it's we're still talking about that now and having the conversation of, okay, you draft a quarterback at number 8 overall who may not see the field for a couple of years. That kind of goes against the conventional wisdom of we want to win now, we want a guy.
That's not so bad, bruh. I hate that they asked that question. Like,
context and with this whole idea of
it make it seem so bad.
The what, it's about the who.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
the guy that y'all felt convicted in.
Dude, it's like, oh, y'all didn't make a move for now. Like, bruh, it is a move for now.
It goes back years. It goes back
and later.
First got here.
Now later, you dig what I'm saying?
You're always looking for. You look at it in terms of 5 years. Are you good in that position for the next 5 years? And minimum. When we first got here, obviously Matt Ryan, a tremendous quarterback, and there's a lot of variables that go into when we first got here in terms of cap and cash and where you're at as a team and trying to build. Okay. But we were always looking aggressively for the heir apparent, the down the road solution at that position. There's 3 ways you can acquire that position: through the draft, and it's the most sought after position. It's the most important position in all of sports. And it's the most expensive position in our sport. So if it's through the draft, the currency is draft capital. So once you identify a guy, you got to be ready to go up and get him. You have to be ready to give up future assets to go get that player. In the pro side of things, and you've seen in recent years, to go get a guy that you believe in, you have to trade both draft capital and cap and cash. So you're going and giving 3 first-round picks and 2 1s and 2 2s or whatever the case may be, plus cap and cash, to then solidify we're okay with that because we got the next 5 years, 6 years, whatever figured out. So
San Francisco.
Hey, we might not pick a player this year to help us win right now, but we're in win right now mode because we've solidified that position. Then the other option is free agency, which is what we did with Kirk. We had an opportunity in unrestricted free agency to add a guy that we believe in. And it's an expensive addition because he's that guy. He's our quarterback. He is our starter. He's the guy we believe we can win with. He's the leader. I was with him in Washington. He hasn't changed. He's a maniacal preparer.
I didn't know he was with him
leader,
in Washington. That's some
toughness,
new.
all those things
Something
that we
new.
love.
So that might be another
So
reason
that's
why
another
we went
option.
after Kirk Cousins so much.
The tricky part is the draft. And for us, going back to Penix, this is the first year that we were sitting at our pick, and there was a quarterback at that position, most important position in sports, that we felt like can be the guy. This is the first year. We didn't pick one in 21. We didn't pick one in 22, not 23. This was the first year that we were sitting there, and we're staring down the barrel at a player that we think can be that guy. So right now, as it stands, regardless of which, we've gone from 21, and I know it's long-winded and it's going back in time, but it's an unsettling.
So
feeling.
what they've been saying, they've
Sitting
been
there
looking
in
for their
21,
quarterback,
I'll never forget sitting
and
there with Terry and being like, okay,
they're
well,
not missing the
what's our
chance to
future?
take
What's
their
our plan
quarterback
for the future. How are we
via
going to
next year and stuff like that,
solidify
especially
down
with
the road? It's
losing,
not just
potentially
about this
losing
year or
draft
next year.
picks,
It's about
and
5 years minimum. And always trying to find
not
that
even being in
option.
position to draft a quarterback, being high, meaning
just
you have a high draft
didn't
pick.
happen naturally. We want to make you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to force something, or you know what I mean. You want it to happen naturally. And in this situation, we went out and got a guy that we believe in, and we're sitting there in the draft, and we let our board speak to us, and there was a guy there at that position. So now we feel really good at 5 years minimum. We are good. We don't have to worry about that position.
And that's how you build around after that.
Michael Penix at quarterback. Last 4 years, they've all been offensive picks in the first round. What is the overall, and what was the overall assessment of the defense when you're that high, close to number one, but you go offense 4 years in a row?
Well, it's like we've talked about before. It's always best player available in our board, and how that board falls to us. The confidence and conviction we have in the players that are there available to us. When you have a lot of different.
So if somebody
players
would have
up there at
jumped up and
different
took
positions,
Penix, we would
can
have definitely
value
took a defensive
position
player.
over
So we
other
would have been the first
positions,
team to take a
if it's
defensive
all
player
equal,
if
you're looking at
somebody
need,
got
you're
Penix
looking
before
at
us.
positional values, you're looking at all those things. But at the end of the day, we've been the same, and we've been consistent that way. Use free agency, set yourself up for the draft so you can go in there and pick best player available for you.
If Penix is your guy, why not let him go from the jump and save that money on Kirk and spend it on defensive players that you could use in free agency? I guess both individually seem great, but maybe not together collectively could be the play.
Well,
you just think that you can get
right.
at 8 of that?
Well, there's we believe, but that's now you're getting into the hypotheticals of if.
To me, this is the best situation. This is the best route to go, because now you don't have to, say you go draft your quarterback just like we did, right? Now you don't have to put pressure on him to win immediately. He can learn, bruh. You just gonna keep killing yourself. Overall, you keep just trying to put pressure on on a rookie quarterback, bruh. You are putting pressure on that rookie quarterback to take you to the Super Bowl in his first 3 years, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, bruh, no. We decided as a team to, you know what, we're going to still get us a quarterback, but we're not going to put pressure on him. We're going to get us a guy in free agency. We're not going to put pressure on him, though, to win. But the guy we get in free agency, he has the pressure to win. This guy doesn't. And he doesn't have to, fail. Unlike a lot of other quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks are failing. That quarterback class with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, look at their quarterbacks and look what happened. All those guys started pretty much at the beginning of their careers, and where are they now? All of them on different teams except Trevor Lawrence, and the jury is still out on him whether or not he's going to end up on another team.
If everything was the same and we went in there, we didn't have any quarterbacks on our roster, we just sit there at 8 and pick a quarterback. Like the way that that process works is no different than what we've done in 21. We identify first in February how many quarterbacks do we think are going to go. It could be 12 in the first round, 6, 8, whatever it is. This year we thought there would be 6. I was wrong. I thought 4 would go before us, but thought there would be 6 that go. So now you take that number. We think there's going to be 12 first-round quarterbacks this year. And we shut the doors and take all the grades, and we take all the scouts' opinions and coaches' opinions, character, makeup, everything that goes into it. And Raheem and Terry's job is to sit there and say, of these 12, who are we going to do? Who's the guys we believe in? Who are the conviction guys? Who are we going to pull the trigger?
And Master Penix was it.
Like we said, year
This
one,
is all it is
21,
to it.
5 went. We didn't pick one. This is the first year that we sat there, and there was one that we would do. The point I was making earlier, that position, it's what do you have to pay for that position if you believe in it. We were at 8. If you believe in 6, you can't sit at 8. You better go to 6. So all those things play into it, and there were no pre-draft trades. And just go back in history. Just go back last few 4 or 5 years. If there are pre-draft, you have to get to a position to where you can take it, and you have to.
Only
assume
one
everybody
pre-draft
sees the
trade, and that was
position
the
the same
Vikings
way
and the
you do.
Texans.
You have to, or else you're going to get burned. So we've essentially what we've done is we have Kirk Cousins, who we believe in. Everything what we did to get Kirk Cousins tells everybody what we believe about Kirk Cousins. He's our guy. We set ourselves up, and in the draft, Michael Penix was there, and it's a young quarterback that we believe in. We pulled the trigger. I mean, that's as kind of clear as I can say it.
I interrupt you, Clay. I said you thought 4 quarterbacks would go before you guys picked. Was Penix one of those guys you thought would be out?
Well, that doesn't matter. Either way, you're going through the process of trying to sort
He
out.
said that doesn't matter.
Hey, what
Like,
could
bruh,
happen,
it didn't
what
fucking
couldn't
matter.
happen. Are there going to be trades?
I like the way he answered that.
Nobody had us taking once because we have a quarterback. We have Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
If you sign a 1-year quarterback or you don't do anything in free agency, you all of a sudden by the league you get put into the category of they could take one. There's still teams that were beyond the top 12 that we think could take quarterbacks. It's just how does it fall out?
And see, he just explained something that nobody else is really thinking about. Okay, they went and got a quarterback, Kirk Cousins, right? See, now don't nobody think he got to take a quarterback. They basically use Kirk Cousins as smoke screen to get to hold down their guy. Cause say, just like he said, what if you did sign a little bridge quarterback? Okay, everybody knows now you just going to take a quarterback, or you are possibly going to take a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a smoke screen. So now people probably would have been even more aggressive to jump up and take, maybe the quarterback that you wanted. And then it was reports that came out that the Saints, the Raiders, and the Seahawks was trying to jump up in the top 10 to get Michael Penix. Come on, man.
So you're just trying to prepare yourself either way. We feel in a great position because we've got Kirk Cousins, who we believe in to the highest degree, and we have Michael Penix that we believe in. So for the next 5 years, again, we feel great about the position, minimum.
I don't know if your decision not to bring him in on a 30 visit had to do with trying to hide your intentions or not, but I wonder how you got comfortable with the medicals when you didn't get that time to spend with him.
So the medical, that all happens at the combine,
So
those
that
things.
was enough.
Yeah.
Everything took place there.
Well, postseason, whether we bring guys in on 30s, we go private guys. We privated a lot of guys this year. That was one, I guess, that got out. There's other ones that probably didn't get out, but we go make a lot of calls or private visits, and sometimes it's to work guys out. Sometimes it's just to visit with them. Sometimes it's to get them on the board, talk football, get the mental. Once you kind of check that box and you're like, hey man, do we need any more information here or not? We had Michael Penix and a lot of other guys scheduled for 30s, but we made our private visit. We kind of checked the box. Let's utilize another 30 on somebody else that we need more information on.
So you
Yeah.
came out of the private visit with him.
Yes.
Okay, about his medicals.
Yep.
You had checked that box.
Yeah, medical stuff happens at the combine.
Okay.
All the medical information.
Yeah, how did you all square the hit rate at the position, kind of post 2011 versus historical? I'm going back to Keely Smith and all those guys.
Yeah.
Until now, where
Right.
Trubisky and those guys, where you could gamble on a quarterback where you used to couldn't do that. The hit rate versus the bust rate scare you all?
No, I mean, listen, it's the hardest position to evaluate.
Mhm.
It just is what it is, and those numbers that we all have seen and look at, that tells you that. But I think the mistakes that you make,
honestly,
that anybody
if there's
probably makes at the
numbers
position,
on,
because you
you know what
need
I'm
it
saying,
so badly.
how
Everybody knows
successful
that we all
those
know
first round
how badly
quarterbacks
that
have been, no
position is
matter
needed.
where in the first
And
round they was taken, if
our
they
philosophy
sit,
is not just to
like
take
even just for 1
a
year,
position,
like
take
what
a
is
guy that you
their,
think
you know,
is
saying
the guy and
percentage
can be a
from
win
bust
because of the
to,
player.
you know,
Not just to
saying
check the box and say, hey,
solidified
we
franchise
take
quarterback.
a quarterback, get the young contract, all those things that go into it. We believe in, if you're taking that position, you have to believe in that guy is going to be the guy. That's why you're taking him. Since the rookie slotting has come, I think you're seeing more of them go, because the financial hit is what you can get out of. Do you know what I mean? I guess that is probably why more, hey, roll the dice, take a shot, those type of things. But we don't believe in the take a shot business. We got to have conviction in our minds if we're going to take that position. And like I said, this is the first time that we were staring down the barrel to do that.
So that lets y'all know right there that their last 3 drafts, they didn't believe in none of them quarterbacks that came out. And it kind of shows. It literally kind of shows. We would have got I feel like we would have got any one of these other quarterbacks, same stuff would have happened. They would have flamed out and everything.
Clarification, we say you take the conviction of the guy. It's in that top 10. It's not, I mean, because you say you could have conviction that Ritter was the guy, right? So what's the difference, I guess, when you're saying that?
Well, what's the difference between third round and
No, I'm
top 10?
saying that's what you're saying. When you have conviction in the guy, that's what you're referring to. Like conviction in the guy is a first rounder, like he is the future, as opposed to.
Well, I think, yes, conviction on the guy, it's all about the price in which you pay. When you pay Kirk Cousins, we don't have to talk about Kirk Cousins. You know what our conviction is on Kirk Cousins. What we pay
$100 million
Kirk Cousins to come here to do what you've done your whole career. That's what we want from Kirk Cousins. When you pull the trigger on if we traded up in the first round for a quarterback and gave up future assets, that's telling you what we think of that player. You take a player in the first round, it's telling you what you think of that player, and so on and so forth. Some of these teams that go out and trade for veterans and you give up 3 first-round picks and whatever, that's telling you what they believe in that guy. So, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, one more, the Green Bay model, Raheem mentioned that. He was just talking about love to Rodgers, but if you go back, they were taking quarterbacks almost every year for a minute there in the 90s.
Yeah.
Why haven't teams copied that model before?
I think everybody, there's parts, and I know what Raheem and Terry were talking about with that. There's pieces to this of that philosophy. Yes, it's the most important position. So, solidify yourself and double down if you have to, and if you have conviction on guys, take them. But obviously our situation is different than theirs was. Kirk just signing Kirk and just coming here. Obviously Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers were there, solidified in those roles. So there are differences, but the philosophy is the same. If you believe in a guy, take the guy. Especially at that position. But I think that's kind of what they meant, I think, by the Green Bay model. Is not so much you can break down every situation and try to make it exact. It's not, but the philosophy is that way, yes.
Kyle, I assume it's not something you spend an awful lot of time thinking about, but are you surprised, or when you talk to other guys in the front office, now that the dust has settled, are others surprised at the amount of discussion and debate about selecting Michael?
No, I'm not surprised because, again, if what we were talking about with really the 3 ways that you can acquire a guy that you think is the guy that we just went through, essentially we've done that in it's a different order, it's a different way, but it's still saying the same thing. So I think what makes this unique is kind of the timing or the order in which it happened. But no, I wasn't surprised because I don't know if it's been done before. So that's why the discussion, we understood that there's probably going to be a lot of discussion about this.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're right.
I'm curious how much of everything that you're talking about right now and the conviction that you have of Michael Penix and that pick also stems from the conviction that you have about the 53-man roster or 90-man roster that y'all have been building and kind of flexing over the last 3 years?
Yeah, well, I think it's, again, it goes back to just, it's more about that position and take it in steps of it, like Kirk. We feel good about our roster, but we feel great about Kirk. That's why we went and got Kirk, and that position is very important. If we were to, no different than if you, like we said, if you were to go and trade.
Real quick, I ain't gonna lie. He right now he's kind of making me this pressure. He's trying to making me feel like he's trying to, I don't know, let's say coddle Kirk or ease the blow of getting Michael Penix to Kirk. The way he just keep bringing Kirk name up, he just keeps saying it. It's like he trying to convince us that, like, okay, look, we might have took a quarterback, but Kirk's our guy. Like, trying to do damage control. That is what I'm looking for. That is the term or phrase I'm looking for. Damage control a little bit.
And give up picks for a veteran quarterback and bring him in, you're sacrificing draft capital of the future to win now because you have that position. So, yeah, we feel good about our roster. Our mindset, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but in the personnel side, you never feel like you're a piece away. Like, that's not my job. My job is to always continue to find something else. Like, that's what we do every day is watching tape and try.
I like to hear that. That's what I like to hear that.
CFL.
Because that's how
something to upgrade. Like, we're always.
Because that's how Thomas Dimitroff thought. Oh, we're a piece away. We're a piece away, and we killed ourselves.
Address this position in the draft, or hey, we did this, and now we need to do that. We're not going to panic. We feel good about our roster. We do. But that doesn't mean we feel as a personnel set, hey, we're one piece away, and this changes everything. No, we continue to build, stay disciplined on what we believe in, both through the draft and free agency, and keep executing that way.
Well said.
It's a good question. We talked a lot about it, in meetings with Marquise Williams and Kinger and Raheem as we were going through some of the guys in the college draft, and what are those body types going to look like? Is that going to change because of? Is it going to be more space? Is it going to be more bigger guys because it's going to be more condensed? So we'll really know. Obviously, when we start playing, will be a clearer picture. But yes, we did talk a lot about that. The importance of returners, and different. Is that going to change the skill set of the returner because it's not so much a running start? Is it more guys that kind of fit the punt return skill set now on kickoff? So there's a lot of different ways to look at it.
Nah, I didn't think about that. Because you ain't getting the running start.
You got to see it and feel it before we start doing that.
What does it say about your secondary? How you feel not drafting a defensive back?
Yeah, well, we feel good about our secondary. Obviously, we're going to look to continue to add at every position, but we got a lot of guys that have played, that have started, not only on our team this year, but that we have brought in. Antonio Hamilton has started games both outside and inside. Kevin King has started games in Green Bay, both outside and inside. Obviously, he was coming off the injuries, so he'll get an opportunity to compete. Clark, did some really good things inside and outside. D. Hughes. So we've got guys that have played. We've got veterans that have played and started, and it's not new to them. But like every position on defense and offense, we're going to continue to look to add. It doesn't matter what time of year that is.
Going back to the pick at 8, you said that you don't think it's ever been done before. So how difficult was it to weigh, okay, we're going to take a guy here that will be a part of our future plan instead of an immediate impact player at 8?
Bro, why y'all keep asking that same fucking question?
Like,
that kind of get on my nerves. Like, you
gonna
gonna
this that never been done before. Like, I think as we're getting closer,
y'all keep asking about the same thing, same question over and over, just in different variations.
Guys have been picked high with a where there's a quarterback there and all those things, but it didn't. Again, we let our board fall the way it does. We've gone through the last few years of unknowns and uncertainties of not only now but the future, and now we feel tremendous about both with two guys and Penix as a young quarterback. Kirk Cousins as a veteran that's been there, done that, know exactly what we're getting when he walks out there. We know who he is. I was with him and exactly who this guy is, and we're fired up about that. And Penix is going to have to learn from him and learn from Heineke. Heineke's one of the best dudes you'll ever be around. He's played a lot of ball, knows a lot of things, and his job is to soak in as much as he can. But we went from a time of uncertainty in January at that position to we feel really good for, like I said, minimum 5 years moving forward.
What was the moment you knew that Penix was the future?
There wasn't one moment. Like you said, when you go through that position is so difficult to evaluate. It's so hard. There's so many variables, where they go, how they, what's their wiring, what's their makeup. The tape is one thing. What do the coaches think? What's the vision for them? What's the skill set? There's so many things. So from the beginning, any quarterback that you evaluate and you put into the category of we pull the trigger, that's when you are thinking that. Because now it's like, okay, if you put them in that category, if you would, now it's about will you? Is it going to be possible to? Because those are the unknowns with the draft. You just don't know. You could, and these are all, again, hypotheticals of if you don't have anybody and, oh, wow, I love this quarterback. Well, if the people above you need one, you could offer the world. It ain't happening. You ain't getting up there. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And
great.
it came out that we tried to get back into the first round to get lied to. They wouldn't let us back in. People was pissed. People was probably pissed we took Penix. And they was like, nah, fuck them Falcons. We ain't doing no business with them.
Since we've been here, we have.
Now, second round, some people did some business with us. The Cardinals.
And we followed through with what we've said we've always do within the walls, and that's pull the trigger. And we feel really good about it.
What does the money you've invested in quarterback with Kirk, the rookie scale that you have to do with Michael, and then restructuring Taylor, what does that require you to do in other areas now that there is a lot of money invested in the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think again, there's that position. That's the position you've invested a lot in. Look around the league, look at some of the you guys can do it and look up the numbers of just some of the top quarterbacks in the league and how much cap is invested in.
And guess what? Kirk Cousins ain't going to have it. In the next couple of years, that little deal that Kirk got ain't going to look like nothing.
But in the same ballpark when you look at the cap numbers. So obviously we're going to have to, when you have a quarterback or two quarterbacks, that it takes from something else. That's naturally how it does. But feel good about our cap situation, where we're at, and Olsen and Karen do a great job with that. Yeah, we feel really good about where we're at as a team.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Good.
Hey, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and until next time, you guys stay fresh. Shalom.
Woke up this morning, can't remember nothing. Two bitches just flowing from London. Nothing I remember, they calling me daddy. The match was covered in money. Went to sleep.